The next step in preparing your AgriWebb account for arable record keeping is to populate the farm inventory with any relevant sprays or fertilizers that you will be using on farm. Again, this can be done on the mobile app or web portal. I'm continuing to use the web portal here, but you are more than welcome to do this on the mobile if it suits you better. I would also recommend populating your inventory first before you start making any paddock records. This means that your inventory will be set up straight from the beginning and you won't have to enter in any new products when you come to create new paddock records for each field. So in order to set up our inventory and get all of our sprays and fertilizers and any other treatments we want onto the system, you're going to start by going to the inventory tab on the left hand side of the screen here. We're then going to switch to the paddock treatment inventory at the top. And here you'll see you'll be able to access a list of all treatments that you've entered, and you'll be able to add new ones using this new paddock treatment blue button at the top right here. When we click this, it'll bring up a screen where we'll be able to put in all of the spray details. So for example, if I was to switch this from treatment to fertilizer, could call this urea. We can select a container unit for the item that we're adding in. So if I was adding in a 1 ton bag, for an example, I could just say this was a 1 ton bag I was adding in. You can edit whether this had a withholding period or not. You can put the application rate, and you can also put a cost in for that container. This will all be useful when we access the reports at a later date, because you'll be able to view how much you're spending on certain treatments, how much you've used up, and that kind of useful information. If you wanted to add in multiple bags, you could add in 3 bags, let's say here, but you could change this to however many you've stored on farm. You can put the current remaining amount. So if you were adding in a bag that was actually half full, you would want to change this to half a ton instead of leaving it as default as full. And the remaining accurate date, so that's the date that this remaining amount was set. So we're going to keep this as today, as we've just bought the bag in, so it's completely full and we don't need to change that. You can then put in any batch numbers, manufacture dates, expiry dates, any other information there that would be helpful to you, and add in a description if you wanted to. Once we save that, we'll see it appears in our list here. You can see it down at the bottom, our 3 different bags. If you had loads of different bags to add in, but you didn't want them to show up as separate entries into the inventory, you could just add one bulk item for the total amount to save having a long list like this. You could just have one with the total amount. If you scroll across the inventory here, you'll be able to see all the different columns. So we get the container size, how much is currently remaining. So these are all still full. Get the cost per container, the value of how much you've got remaining, any batch numbers, expiry dates, application rates, etc. If you scroll right over to the end here, you'll be able to edit, copy, archive, or delete. So the copy function here is pretty useful. If you've already added in a fertilizer, let's say, that you use pretty often and you don't want to keep recreating that when you come to add it into the inventory, you can simply copy it and all of the details will be copied across, so you don't have to manually enter that every time. If you archive it, it'll disappear from this list, so you won't have to view it anymore, or you can just simply delete it if you made an error or edit at any time.